and tiptoe through your life. Digging in the dirt, you can stress on the strife, but I'm gonna fly past the worry and the pain today. I'm flying on faith, flying on faith. I'm flying on faith. You could cry all night about the things that you hate, so dissatisfied in so many ways, but I'm gonna find a way to celebrate today. I'm flying on faith, flying on faith. I'm flying on faith, flying on faith. Picked up my baggage and I threw it out the door.
Good morning. Good morning. We are coming live to you right now in the field of the Old Grove High School. I cannot think of a better way to talk about community activism other than being out here today on a rainy day, making sure that the citizens of this great city of Savannah, the Garden City area, and the surrounding areas in the middle of COVID have access to good, healthy, nutritious food. I hope you're able to hear me because I'm out here testing the limits of my technology. I was just telling my guest today that we are coming live out with remote access, but we'll see how things go. It is good to have you all in the room. This morning, we are talking to a phenomenal young man, here on Be Radiant, where we build and empower people to live their best lives. We're always looking to bring someone in who will inspire you to live your best life and to make sure that you are being a blessing to others in their life as well. So we have Moncello Stewart, who is a community activist here in the Savannah, Chatham County area and the surrounding cities. And he's always going about doing good wherever he is. And he has inspired me so that I am bringing him in the room today. So sit back and let's hear about being a community activist. Good morning, young man. How are you?
Good morning. How are you doing?
I am doing great. I am so glad to be able to talk to you this morning. And I was just letting them know that I'm out here on this rainy day doing what you have taught me to do best. It's to be out and about in our community doing good. So it's good to be with you today.
Well, thank you. And luckily, I'm in the house and you're in the rain, so I appreciate that.
And that's what I told him. I says, we're out here, so it may be a little choppy, guys, but I say just bear with us today because the information is going to be worth the effort. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself, Moncello? Let us know who you are and what makes you tick.
Man, wow. So born and raised Savannah, grew up on the west side of Savannah, Tatumville, and attended Beach High School and Georgia Southern, and I've always had that desire to help and get involved with the community from early ages of middle school, from being elementary, actually, from being just a patrol watchman to middle school with SGA, to high school with sports and SGA and several other organizations. It was always in me to really be involved. I have a one daughter who is 15, and my mother and my brothers have always supported me to really do the things that I really want to do, which has always been activism. And it's always crazy because my brother's like, hey, I got to work, I got a career to do, I got to make money, because activism don't make money. I'll tell you that right now. So I just really enjoy what I do, and it's just been for me, it's been about 25 years of really just staying in the fight, doing as much as I can.
All right. That is amazing that even as a young man, you had that desire to be a part of your community, making a difference. Now, tell me this. You said you have a great support system in place. So what is the difference between activism and being someone who helps in the community? I think there's a little bit of a difference there because can you give us a little more on that?
Yeah, first of all, anyone could be activist. There's no rule, there's no degree, there's no anything to say. I can't be an activist. But I think more activism and just a helper was more the consistency and the passion. Is really getting behind the issue and standing with it from start to finish, and not just helping out with issue from here and there. And I think that's really the difference. Many people volunteer, many people help out, but many people do not wake up and dream about it and go to sleep and thinking about it. And I think that's the thing that I really have. And 2 o'clock in the morning, if I roll over, I'm like, what next project can I do? How can I help Savannah next? Or looking in the newspaper, you see one of those issues and you say, okay, well, how can I get in front of this? How can I get involved? And activism, just a lot of behind the work, organizing. And again, a lot of people help out here because we got to have a support system. Even activists need volunteers or the people who just say, well, listen, I can't do as much as you, but I can come out here and help out here and there. So it all works together.
All right. You just said something that it sparked fire in me, because for me, I believe that each and every person that is born in this world, God put them here for purpose. All of our purpose may be different. It may look different, but you said something that lets us know when it is purpose. When you dream about it, when you think about it, you go to bed thinking about it, you wake up thinking about it. And when there is something that's happening that's contrary to your passion and your dream, you try to figure out a solution. That is amazing, young man. I tell you. Good morning, guys. I see we have Miss Latricia in the house, and Marcus and Penny.
Mark, how y'all doing? Good friends. More active.
Yes, I was about to say, it seems that you're attracting people who also have that like passion, that like mind about them. Now, as you just said, that a lot of people, they like to be to do things and volunteer in their community, but activism requires another level. Right. You are an amazing organizer. Tell me how those two things go together and how that elevates that volunteer spirit.
All right, that organizing and activism, it definitely goes together. And you can be active and have the greatest idea to change something. You can say, well, my passion is the homeless, and that's what I really want to get into. And you could go volunteer, you could go to food pantries, you can do certain things that's what you do. However, it's different from learning how to organize, knowing how to set up that event, knowing how to reach the most people, knowing how to make sure that your stakeholders are involved with it. And it's two totally different levels. I know many people that volunteer at, the Salvation Armies and the Second Harvest, and volunteer at the giveaways and the bike giveaways, and they're great, awesome people, right? But not a lot of those people have never operated an event, put on the full event from start to finish, went to go get the permits, got the approval, talk to the city or talk to the county, dealing with the ins and out of really, really trying to pull that event together, because a lot of people do not want to deal with that. That's it's really tough. And it gets political at times as well too. So they definitely go together. But the more that you learn about management, if you're a person that have good management skills and leadership skills, it makes it easier to move in those spaces because you know how to organize an event.
Oh, wow. You just said it. One of the passions of the church that I'm planting. In fact, our vision is to be a church without walls, bringing the hope of Jesus to everyone, everywhere. And you've got to have that organization piece in there.
Right.
And I already know who to call, because we're about to step it up a level. Myself and a few of our church members are actually going to be here today for this serve, helping to get the food out. But our goal is to become a distributor to make sure that each month we can put on this same level of excellence so that we can bring this every month. Because I think a lot of times we see it is, it may be this month and then it won't happen again for another couple of months, and we recognize the need to have this more often. So I already know who to call to help me get this
That's right.
on a regular rotation.
And shout out to Councilman Lassiter out there who's been on the ground doing the work. I mean, I just love him. It's funny how things work. A lot of us seen each other at the same event. So like activism got this kind of, we don't know, but we know. So we see each other and kind of give each other that head nod, like, like good job, like we really know that a lot of people out here. I know I've seen you several times at events over the last, especially the end of last year, just really working out here, getting people to the polls, trying to throw events to really get people registered to vote. And it's funny how even this connection have worked between me and you. It's like you start seeing people and you start building that respect for those people because you see those folks out there actually doing the work.
Absolutely, because that's what I said when I called you. I was like, look, everywhere I go, everything I get involved in, you are there. I need to hear from you because I'm relatively new to Savannah, but you've been in this fight for a long time. So I says, I know the man who knows this community, and not just knows this community, Moncello, you love this community.
I love it.
And I see that also in Councilman Lassiter. So,
right.
And definitely have to give him a shout out because he has been making this happen. That is how I even learned that about the food bank doing these type of events. And so I'm just grateful to him and to others. So if you are in the Garden City area, anywhere throughout Savannah, we are here, rain or shine. Councilman Lassiter said he was going to make this happen, rain or shine. And so we're out here, and if you are in need of food, and when I tell you, Moncello, I think you were here at the last one that I was at. It's not just canned goods, non-perishables. They have fresh meat.
That's right.
That is, you take it home, put it right back in your freezer because they bring it so that it's not out long. So you get fresh chicken, you get fresh cheese, you get fresh produce, vegetables, a box full of it, eggs and cheese and milk and bread. This is for real. So if you're around, come on out. They're starting at 9:30. People have already started to line up. So it starts at 9:30 and they're going to go until noon, I think is what it said, or until everything is gone. So whichever comes first. So get on out here, and there are no questions asked. That's what I love about it. Go ahead.
And it's so important. We've looked at events like this as, this is for the poor or this is for the low income. And let's be honest with you, COVID has created a space where everyone needs help right now. And it's so very important. That the middle class is shrinking. I think a lot of us have seen it, go away. We thought a low income middle class, and then the upper level and the middle class is going away. So those people that were making $30,000 and $40,000 a year that wasn't considered low income are now kind of in the low income bracket. And those events like that really help those individuals be able to provide for their families and be able to have that extra, because it's really hard. And if you can be $40,000, $50,000, and if you don't know how to manage it, but I don't think people understand how much the cost of living costs. You can make $50,000 and if that, a third, half of that check, goes to your living arrangements, it's really hard to continue to do the things that you do to support your household. So big shout out to Garden City and for Councilman Lassiter. I have so much respect for him and amazing work that they are doing out there to provide for the community.
Absolutely. I have met so many wonderful people in this last year and a half that are about the work. Pastor Elaine is on here and she says active versus activism. There are some people out there that are active, and then there are some people out there that are making a difference. And so I know I'm speaking to one of those people right now. And there are so many that have come into the room. Zalonia, Come on in the room, girl. She is another one who is about her father's business. I'm telling you.
Oh
And
yeah,
Marcus,
that's
yeah,
my
they
road dog right there. What's up, Z? That's my road dog.
absolutely.
You know, we're born and raised around and say, well, Zaloni actually, she tell people she grew up in Tatumville. She really did not. We put her out some years ago, so she's an outsider always trying to claim Tatumville, and she went to Windsor, not Beach. So don't let her tell you that she went to Beach. She went to Windsor.
All right, all right. Well, if there's some people that are listening now, Zaloni had something to say. She's talking to another young lady. Great. I'm glad there's someone on here, Katina, I think it is, that I'm gonna have to get to know.
Katina's the vice president of the Black Chamber here, where I serve as president. So thank you, Katina, for being on.
All right. And the Black Chamber, that's another organization that is really active in the community. Tell us a little bit about the Black Chamber.
Well, the Black Chamber, we've been around for the last 4 years. I became the president maybe the end of 2019, and we have some challenges. We're doing a lot, but we haven't been able to expand as much as we can just put resources. I don't think other people understand, you know, how hard it is, how difficult it is to form an organization that large and support as many African American businesses that actually need the help. But we're trying. We have a blueprint and a plan of how to move forward and how to get this thing moving. And we just hope that the community can kind of get behind it. You know, one of the things that, you know, that's a big part of activism that is really the hard part is the part that you go home and cry at night, and the part that you go home and really just kind of pull your hair out about is a lot of times, you know, is no funding for this kind of stuff. Sometimes no support for these things. And so when people see you and they judge you on events, or they judge you on community outreach, they judge you on this, and you kind of saying, well, I'm giving the best I can. I don't have the support, you know, we don't have the resources. We're really trying, and it's really hard. I've been there several times with several different groups where you know, we do something and you go on social media like, well, it could have been like this and it could have been like that. And I'm like, you just don't know how much energy, how much time is taken, and how much sacrifice that's really taken in to pull this stuff off. And so, you know, again, you know, when you know you have someone out there in the community, when you know you have some support, when I see activists out there doing the work, I try to way to support them. I want to find a way to fund them. I want to find a way to come to their event. That's why I go to everything, because I know how hard it is when you just at that event and you need that one extra person to volunteer, or you need that one person to do a sign-up sheet, or you need that one person to help you unload. I'd have been at events where everybody came in there and got thousands of dollars worth of material and stuff and free stuff, and then the event is over and you got to load up and you by yourself, and everybody left you, and you don't have no support, and my cars, godly, it seems like I'm buying a car every 2 years because I done messed up every car I had, you know, from food drives. I done spilled every bit of baked beans in the back seat of the car, and I done tore up my dashboard putting chairs and tables in the car, and it's like, and there's no reimbursement for that. You know, the reimbursement is knowing that the community got what they needed and that we were part of the bigger picture.
Absolutely, absolutely. You just said a mouthful. I know I drive a Mini Cooper, just a little car, and everybody always says, how did you get all of that stuff in that little bitty car? I said, where there's a will, there is a way. Because when you're passionate about something, you make it happen, right?
That's right.
Absolutely. So now someone's listening and they said, well, Moncello, you know, I'm not the one that's going to organize it, but how do I find out about more events that I can volunteer at? Because I do have a passion for my community and making it better. What are some ways that they can get more involved?
Well, let's see, you know, first of all, it starts with just taking a risk. You know, it's no perfect way to kind of get into the thing. A lot of people say I want to get involved, and they don't know what they want to get involved with. So when I first started organizing, I didn't know exactly what it was. I know I like working with the youth. I know I like giving to people. So I started, you know, I was the team captain for March of Dimes. I was the team captain for Relay for Life. I got involved with the Sigma Beta Club here and became the advisor with some youth here in Savannah. And I just kept moving until I found that, you know, the youth was really what I really wanted to work with then when I was about 24, 25. And I just kept on developing that until finding something else. The reason I really got involved so heavy early on was actually came through my neighborhood association. My neighborhood association in Tatumville, which was a very older crowd, and I was invited out to the meeting through a mentor of mine, Miss Ernestine Jones. And she would, when I was in high school, she was the president of Liberty City Neighborhood Association, and she would always tell me, when you come back from school, get involved with your neighborhood, get involved with your neighborhood. And so I started going to the Tatumville meetings, and I realized that we were not getting what we were supposed to get. We were not getting information from our local offices. We were not getting resources that we were supposed to get. And so my activism came in sense of wanting to be the middle person to make sure I can go back and forth to those city and county meetings and making sure that we were starting getting stuff. So then when I started doing that, that went into the next level. So now I'm helping out Tatumville, but now I see other issues that need, and I see other communities that need, and it just began to grow. So the first step is really just really risking it. There's no perfect examples. No, let me go to activism.com and figure this thing out. You know, it's really just really trying and seeing some of these events on social media. Now, I would say this, in the next month or so, I'm creating a link to my website on my nonprofit website, which will provide volunteer opportunities for anyone. So I'm partnering with a lot of the nonprofits here to list their events, have one exclusive place to list all the events on, so that people could go on there and say, this is what I want to do. You know, oh, I like working with kids, or I want to do something younger, or I like the arts, or I like health, or I want to do something with Black heritage, or any of those things like that. It is so many opportunities out here for anyone to want to volunteer. And be honest, if someone says, I just want to help and don't know, call me. You know, I'll leave my information before we leave today. I'm more than willing to sit down and help you think about organizations in Savannah that you will want to be involved in.
Oh, wow. That is amazing. And Moncello, before I brought you in, I think it was before I brought you into the room, I let them know that Radiant Church, that is my heart. That is my passion. I want to, as a pastor, of course, see people live holy, saved lives. Of course, that is a big part of it. But I believe anyone who is living that way is also going about doing good. And so I know I want to talk with you more about that offline, because one of the things that I want to do is to be a hub. I would like to, my little old tiny church, I want to be a hub for community activism, a hub for making sure that no one that wants or lacks is left behind, that there is some way for them to get access through their community. There are too many churches in this community, churches in this community for people to be in the situations that some of them are in. So I've got some things I want to talk to you about, you know, that I know I'm going to need someone to help me, because you've been organizing in this community for a long time, so that you can begin to help me find out how to move in this community to do the things that not the things that I want to do, but the things that God wants done in his community. We're his hands and his feet. And I know you are a spiritual man, and so you understand that we're his hand and his feet in the community. And so we've got to make sure that we're out there doing his work. So you just said it. Right now, nonprofits are taking a beating because the funding is just not there. People aren't able to give like they used to give. And then even with the city and county, the funding that they would do for nonprofits is gone down. It's a decrease. What do you say to someone who is fighting hard for their community and for their organization, and they do great work, but they're not getting the funding right now? What are some options that they have?
Wow, so that's like that's probably the number one question. So you know, to be clear, the options are going to be few. But I will say this: every organization I know that's led by a good leader that's been keeping the fight have found a way to get the funding. It's about the fight and it's about the progress. And so you know, I've developed a nonprofit of my own in June of last year. It's called One Seed, and I developed the nonprofit to be a filler between United Way and smaller community groups that's not receiving funding. And my job is, and my role for this is to provide mini grants for small nonprofits monthly, so those nonprofits can continue to work, because we have a lot. I mean, I was in a workshop just recently, and I'm looking on the list. I'm looking at 200, 300, 400 nonprofits. I'm not talking about the ones that we hear all the time, the large ones who do great work. There's no knock to the ones that does the great work. I'm talking about the small community groups, the dance teams who have to sit on and do a car wash for 20 hours just to make $200, and the football team that want to go play out of town and they don't have the resources, so the coaches got to divide the money up. The community gardening groups that just want to provide fresh vegetables to the elderly, and they don't have the money to get the seeds and the soil and stuff like that. So actually, starting next month, starting in March, I'll be my nonprofit will send out our first mini grant, and for the rest of the year, I'll be giving $500 a month every month for the remaining of the year to support small nonprofits. So I'll have an application up on my website probably the next week or so, and the money has already been raised for it, and I plan to do this from here on out until I can't do it no more. And I want to raise enough money that I can start giving 2 or 3 mini grants per month. But right now, starting in March, I'll be giving out personally $500 a month for the rest of the year for local small nonprofits and community groups to continue to do what they do.
Well, Moncello, you've got a partner here. You've got a partner with Radiant Church. So we're going to talk a little bit more about how we can help you make that happen. And it is oneseedinc.com, correct?
That's correct. That's correct.
All right. Someone type that in. I put it on the screen, but if someone could type that in so that you'll have that website in the chat, oneseedinc.com. He is not only talking about it, he is being about it. That right there is amazing. There is no one that wants to help someone that should not be able
That's
to.
Right.
It's not. And so definitely reach out to him, and not just reach out to him to apply for the grant, but if you are someone that can bless him so that he can continue to do the work, please do so. Oneseedinc.com is the website. Thank you, Marcus, for putting that in for us.
Thank you, Marcus.
Yes. We've got work to do, and it sounds like this young man is already about it. So let us get ourselves together so that we can begin to work. So now you've told us about oneseedinc.com. Is there any other contact information that you would like to give us?
Yeah, and so it's a few other things that I'm working on. The other one is a coalition of community builders that's kind of a nonprofit for civil rights kind of movement, and it's called Movement Matters Coalition.org. Movement Matters Coalition.org, and that's up and running now. And myself with other community activists, Eddie Gresham, Trey Singleton. Matter of fact, it's funny that Latricia's on here because I already talked to her about it. And there's a few others. And the whole idea is to be a kind of umbrella civil rights type group that's really there. I know when after the Arbery shooting, we went down there to Brunswick and really support that effort. And then the rally, we hosted a rally or two in Forsyth Park called Enough is Enough. And so that organization would be thank you so much. That group right there would be a group that we really focus on the mission. And these different from the nonprofit group. This would be more civil rights. What do we need? How do we move the omelet forward in the Black community, and doing some of those things that maybe other groups because of political reasons maybe cannot do. And so this is not owned by a certain person. This is me. Anyone could be to say our movement matters. I'm a part of this coalition of community builders that's really out there trying to move this thing forward. So those are the two groups that I'm gonna be focused on this year a lot, and I'm hoping that we could get some leaders involved with Movement Matters so that we can figure out who needs what and how to help everyone in the community.
Absolutely. I know this is Black History Month. So I've been, for me, I'm Black History every day. So I'm always, looking to educate myself on people who are part of the movement, because I think what we have found out through the George Floyd tragedy and through the Ahmaud Arbery tragedy and through so many others, that we are at a place now where we cannot just talk about it anymore. We've got to be doing something actively all the time. We're in a new civil rights movement, to be honest with you. And so I was yesterday, I've been highlighting each day, I've been highlighting someone different. And Fannie Lou Hamer was who I highlighted yesterday. And Fannie Lou Hamer she literally grew up on a sharecropping farm. She was the youngest of 20 kids, and all she knew was sharecropping. And she had lived on a plantation until she was 44 years old. But somebody came through that town and said, do you know that you have the right to vote? You can register. She was like, really? Tell me how I do that. And that was what sparked her. And she turned into a dynamite woman, always fighting for the rights for people to be able to vote. So what you're doing now may ignite a spark in someone who never thought about it before, and they can turn into the next Fannie Lou Hamer. Moncello, you're doing great work, brother. You are doing great work.
And that's amazing. The how that story, because I know plenty about that story. I've read a lot, and this is the how it's so funny. The correlation is one seed. The idea of one seed came from stories like that. Now, one seed nonprofit came from story. It just takes one seed. It just takes one push, one resource, one anything. Sometimes it could be a nonprofit. You need that one person to come, that one board member that would change it, or that one grant that would give them the stuff to push over, or that one initiative that will put them on the top. And so many times, you know, we're not 3 moves away from being great. Sometimes we're just 1 move away from being great. And I'm hoping that my organization and many others can work together to increase that in Savannah.
Oh man, that is amazing. And I just wanted to make that correction that it is movementmatterscoalition.org.
.org, not .com, .org.
Yeah, let me get that straight. Marcus, you're my man out there today. You're my point man. Go ahead and correct that for me. It is movementmatterscoalition.org. Because we want to get that right. Okay, we want to get that right because we want people to get to the right place so that they can do the right work. And you're right. I mean, I'm just thinking a 44-year-old woman who has lived on a plantation, has only known that life, and then one seed, that was one seed planted in her heart, and she was on it. She ended up running for Congress, or it was she got on the ticket, guys. And so one seed planted in her life. And when I tell you the sister was beaten to within an inch of her life, and she got up, got herself, got well, and got right back out there. It can be done. Moncello, you have blessed me today. I just want you to know I could talk to you for the next hour, but I'm out here getting a little business done today, getting a little work done for the community. So I'm gonna have to get on off. You are going to have to come back and tell us more about One Seed, and also about Movement Matters Coalition, because you have opened the door to some great work, and we want to be a part of that great work. And I'm sure there are people out here. Guys, share this so others can hear about what is going on here in Savannah. I said great things are coming out of Savannah, and Moncello Stewart is making sure that we are on the map. Moncello, you were on a call the other day for City Shapers Savannah. It's an organization that actually comes in and helps with that organization piece. I surely hope that you're going to follow up and maybe find out a little bit more about that, because they can come in and kind of help with that organization, kind of take some of that weight off of you, because you are a busy fellow.
Right. Okay, but I'm very busy, but I do have a large support system. And when you're getting into organizing, you really need to make sure you know who your circle is. and who's pouring positive stuff into your life. And I've been lucky to have people pour positive stuff into my life, and my circle is very good and very strong, and we support each other. And so it's so many activists out here that's doing great things. Fortunately, I've been one that's been able to be seen a little more than some other people, but I've got activists that's still behind the scenes, that's still into pushing the envelope, and I really appreciate that. So just make sure that you got people that's really speaking positive things into your life, and I think when you have that, that's going to help you accomplish your mission and your goals.
Absolutely. I see some great people coming in. I see Maury Sanders is on here, and Molly Lieberman is on here. Sabrina is on. Todd Bayard, I can't really say his name. Todd, yeah, he's on here. I can tell that you have some great people in your corner. So, Moncello, I like to end with a question. What are you doing right now that helps to build and empower you to live a radiant life? Because you're a busy young man. So I want to know, what are you doing that's putting some joy back in your journey?
Oh, well, that's an easy answer for me right now. Self-care.
Yeah.
Self-care. I've been going so strong for so many years, and it got the end of last year. It just almost came to like, oh, I think I'm ready to sit down for a while. And I took the time to understand what self-care was, and take the time to organize better, to plan better, to get rest. It's a Saturday morning right now. I don't plan to get out my house no time soon. And usually on a Saturday morning, like you said, I would have been over there with you or somewhere. So I'm trying to step back a bit as going out as much, but making when I do go out more effective. And a bigger impact, and so self-care has been a really big part of what's making my life more radiant.
Oh, wow. And you know what? You cannot give from an empty cup.
That's right.
You cannot give from an empty cup. In fact, the Lord says that he wants our cup to run over, so that what we're giving is from the overflow, that what we're giving is that additional piece. So if you're not filling your cup up, then you have nothing to give. So I am right there with you, brother. Stay home on this rainy Saturday morning. Put your feet up and drink your hot coffee. You hear me? I have thoroughly enjoyed you. And like I said, you're going to have to come back, and we're going to talk more about One Seed and Movement Matters Coalition, because I see you doing great things. I want to say thank you to all of those people that have joined us this morning, because Moncello, I know you're great, because I see all these people that are coming in here, and I look at them, like I said, being new to Savannah, I'm like, ooh, I've seen this one do this. And these are some pretty power hitters, and a power hitter you are. So thank you for taking some time out this morning to talk.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right. Now, I also want to ask, is there anything that you want to tell us that I did not ask you today?
Not really, but I would say this, there's so many groups here. Find one to get involved with, between the Black Chamber, League of Bronze, Savannah Youth City, Save Our Youth, Male Dreamers, Political Rascals, Black Voters Matter, BEMA. There's so many groups out there that's doing some amazing things. Take the time to look for those groups. Many times we look for the largest organizations when we want to get involved. We want to get involved with Salvation Army or Second Harvest or Union Mission, which are amazing organizations. But there's some smaller ones that need some help and some work. And I encourage everyone to find one of those small groups and play a part in one of those groups.
Absolutely. That's amazing. And that's a great way to end today. Remember that we are here to help build and empower you to live radiant lives. And how could you not get some joy and some excitement out of this conversation today, just learning how you can be an important part of your community. Thank you again, Moncello, and I will be talking to you soon. I'm going to go out here now and get some work done, and then I'm going to go home and practice some of that self-care. I'm going to put my feet up and have me some coffee too. So you guys be blessed, and we will see you here next Saturday morning. We're going to talk a little bit more about how you can be radiant in your life every day. So come on back in the room. Have a great Saturday.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.